Yo.
There we go. Hello, hello. Are we there? Are we live? Are we live? Is it lagging?
I think we might
hello,
be.
hello. Yes.
How is it?
I don't know. It's up to the people.
That's the people. How's everybody? Hopefully you're all healthy.
There we go. I was looking
Chris,
a little too tannish. I mean, not like our president in chief. There we go.
Are you? I saw they opened Jacksonville Beach.
Yes. Am I going? Yes. No.
Well, I was gonna say, are you a little concerned?
Maybe. I mean, I knew our governor, I guess you would call him. Yes, our governor.
Yeah.
I knew he was very adamant about like trying to jump on board. I mean, it took him forever to just issue the lockdown. Well, not the lockdown, but I guess the whatever they call it, the warning, the staying home type of thing, which was never really a full lockdown because I can tell you every day I went to work, people were in there nonstop buying non-essential things like carpet rugs and clothes and socks and video games and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll see how it works with the beach type of thing. That's going to be interesting how it plays to theme parks a little later on.
Yeah. I'm just concerned that we're jumping the gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really my main concern. Because, like, there's no question. We got to reopen at some point.
Yeah.
But, man, if we jump the gun, we're just going to have to fall back right into what we've been doing. And that could, you know, governor is an idiot, according to Chris Carr. You know, man, I tend to agree with that. I don't want to get too into it. But I just feel like we're jumping the gun for sure. And it does make me a little worried about the future.
I like that they, at least they were, wow, you have a big head. I don't know if that's too big. Is that too little? There we go. I never know what size to make Connor.
I think I'm a good size from what I'm seeing. I think I'm good.
About right there.
Cartoon me.
I don't want to make you have too big of it. Yeah, someday I'll add a real Connor, maybe. Maybe not.
Oh, maybe.
You'll transform into a real boy.
Oh, maybe. That'd be sick.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how that works out with the beaches, and at least they're limiting the time wise. I think is it like only open till I want to say 5 or 6 in the afternoon or something like that.
I don't know, but even that is just dumb because like it's not like you can only contract the virus after 6 p.m.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't work like that.
yeah. It
Hey, Allie, how you doing?
did you
How you
know
doing, Allie?
the virus has a bedtime? Like
Yeah,
it has to.
yeah, yep. SoCal, how you doing? How you doing?
Yo, what is up,
Hope
SoCal? Everybody,
hope
everybody,
hope everyone's doing well.
go follow our West Coast counterpart, SoCal Exploring. He's going to be having something coming very soon for you horror night lovers with Lodge TV. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling anything there, SoCal. But yes, and
Sounds
hello,
good.
Allie. What's up? What's up? Um, I'll dive into the boring topic real quick because everyone is probably here for the main
Yes.
event.
Don't leave. Don't leave.
Don't
Don't leave.
leave. This is
We're
just
just
going to
gonna
be
talk
real
brief chat.
quickly. This pertains to Universal and theme parks, and I'll bring it around. Parks are still stage reboot. Yeah, that's maybe. I mean,
Yeah. What I
California. I think California is they won't allow the parks right for a while.
yeah,
If
I think
I'm not,
theirs are probably gonna be shut down longer than ours, from what I
yeah, because they said
understand.
no concerts and no what was it, large scale, and a theme park is pretty much large scale. I mean, I don't know how do you do
Yeah,
it small.
they are a stage three business, but what I don't understand is
Wrestling was
what
allowed.
like why are the beaches able to open? Because the beaches aren't essential either. It's just it's another large recreational gathering. So I don't know. I
Just
don't get
wrapped
it.
up filming. Okay, so stay tuned tomorrow. SoCal will have something for you guys.
Well,
Some more
oh
Horror Night
shit.
stuff.
Hey
What's up,
Adam, how you
Adam?
doing? How
What's
you
up?
doing?
Um,
So, all
when
right,
can
let's
the public get Peacock? They are demanding some Peacock.
some Peacock answers. You have the answers.
Yes, Peacock is going to actually roll out in July, I want to say, unless they push it, but I believe it's July. So if you are on Xfinity right now and you have a Flex or X1, I believe you can get early access to it right now. And basically, what Peacock TV is. Just what is it? You might ask. There we go. Um, Turn this down.
NBC's Disney Plus.
What'd you say? Uh-oh.
Or Disney Plus.
Connor's cutting out. Are you there, Connor? You're cutting out.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, anyway. So Peacock TV is basically Universal's. Universal own Xfinity owns Universal. They own NBC. It's all sort of all together. So basically, it's their answer to most of the streaming platforms out there. So like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. It's sort of Universal's take on that in the streaming world, what they're offering. Basically, it's like if you really love NBC and you like Universal movies, it pretty much is that hand in hand.
Mm.
It's a whole lot of Jimmy Fallon, a whole lot of Saturday Night Live type of programming. I was enjoying Superstore, which is pretty cool because they actually have the last season that just wrapped up. I think earlier this year, I believe. So
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of up to date on some of the stuff on there. Some of the stuff it's kind of hidden. I mean, they got some work to do before July.
Mm.
Price wise,
I,
it's actually free. It's sort of
Really?
like, do you remember like the earlier days when Hulu was like first around and it was like, oh, you can watch on your
Yeah.
computer, it was free, but it was commercials. And then
Yeah.
they sort of switched the platform to be, well, you got to be a member.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's not the route they take because it's it's enjoyable. Like if you enjoy, like I said, NBC stuff or some movies, it's cool to just have this sort of free alternative. And I believe it's, I want to say $5 a month if you want limited commercials or like no commercials. I forget which one.
Mm. I just feel like there's too many streaming services now. There's just so many.
Yeah.
Like there's like the Amazon one. There's obviously Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, this NBC Universal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so much to keep track of. A lot of people cut cable to save money.
Yeah, and you end up spending
And,
just as
and
much as you would.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like I'm also wondering, are all of the like NBC Universal properties going to be leaving like Hulu and Netflix in the
Oh,
near
good
future? Then
point. That's
that's what I'm
that's
wondering.
something I didn't even think about.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about it, but it would be
Because
annoying,
why would they want it over there if they want it on their own
It,
platform? Good point.
yep.
Ooh, that sucks.
So
Good point. And they also actually have more than just NBC shows. They do have the sports atmosphere. So, like NBC football would be on there. Soccer is a big part of NBC sports as well.
yep.
And the Olympics are going to be huge on there. So, that's going to be some good stuff coming, I believe, next year or later this year when sports kind of returns. And some original programming they debuted is a little questionable, like the Saved by the Bell one. It's
Wait, they brought back Saved by the Bell.
yeah, it's like I didn't watch the trailer, but I know some of the characters return, so it's a little
Oh,
strange, but it's almost like Saved by the Bell for the new generation, but there's also some of the old characters are on there.
I see.
Yeah, and there's a few NBC shows that were on NBC, but now they're like getting an extra season onto this platform as an original programming.
Hmm.
So there's that, and I'm sure there's going to be exclusive stuff. Like I'm hearing there might be a Jurassic Park TV show. There's
Oh,
so many like Universal properties they can also do stuff with to bring original programming over. So I would love to see like maybe a Fast and Furious side TV show or something on there. That would be kind of cool. And most notably, just like how Disney Plus does stuff pertaining to their theme parks, I would love some Universal, Orlando, Hollywood, Singapore, Japan stuff
that would
on
be
there as
awesome.
well.
That would be awesome.
Because think about like after Halloween Horror Nights comes, and then you can watch like behind the scenes of them like
Yes,
building it and stuff.
an art of the scare for every year.
Yes,
How about
that
that?
would
That would
be
be
freaking
fire.
fantastic. And then
Speaking,
just different stuff like they can do around the park to film stuff too, like a day in the life of a art and design employee, or
that'd be
um,
really interesting.
or
Yeah.
like the newborn show, like show the steps of them, like from start to finish, like how it
Hmm.
complete a project. That would be interesting to watch. So
So, also speaking of the art of the scare,
mhm.
Jamari, Jamari has entered the chat. What is up, my dude? How you
What
doing?
is up?
How are we doing, Jamari?
Evil, evil, evil.
Another segue. Another. I've got another segue
You got another one?
for the tally. Well, that was my segue to saying hi to Jamari.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't the segue.
Mm, I mean, it could be as well. It would make sense.
But you got one in your back pocket?
I do not have another one.
Okay.
I used it up. I used it up.
I was setting you up. But anyway, that is real quickly my thoughts on the Peacock TV so far. I'm still discovering some things about it that I like, and I'm still discovering like, oh wow, I did not know how to like search through a certain part and see all the horror movies on there. And um, something really cool that I saw. What is
Hey, Avion.
what's up, Avion?
What's up, dude?
They are here. All right, I'm a
Shaping
wrap.
up to be another good one.
Yeah, I'm, I'm gonna wrap this up. Um, what's cool that I noticed that they didn't do on Netflix is that they actually tell you when something is leaving. So like I clicked on one of the Saw movies, which was weirdly on there, like Saw the final chapter, and it said, "Oh, 12 days like left to view this." So I found that aspect pretty cool. Hopefully they keep that kind of going, because I hate that on Netflix when you add something, you're like, "Oh, I'll watch it later," and then you come back and it's like, "Oh,
It's
that's
gone.
that's
Yeah.
gone. I should have watched it." Uh, can we get to?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. I guess we have
We
no more
can.
segues. No more segues.
Um, no more segues this time.
No more. Yes, he has no more segues.
We'll, we'll just have to dive into it off the deep end.
Off, off the deep end.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, into the deep end, I guess would make more sense.
Yes. So I'll let you take the lead on this,
Oh,
Mr.
wow.
Connor.
So,
Mm-hmm.
as we all probably know, HN Nightmares have released version 2 of their speculation map. And I didn't actually look when we got version 2 last year. I'm guessing it was much later than this. The speculation this year is just really crazy because of, the circumstances. Usually at this point, we at least have one announcement, and we might have had a second announcement by now, potentially. Or we'd be right around the time for a second announcement. Um, the the main differences in this one, the Billie Eilish house, the Sabrina house, and the Grounds house were all dropped. Um, by Unknown Original, a Pumpkin Original, and moved to be a part of the Monsters house, have it like feature her stuff, and go off of the Legendary Truth house. So that's pretty much the main differences right there. Well, they're the only differences.
Yes.
Hey, I always fly. Hope everyone is safe and healthy. Hope you're safe and healthy as well.
What'd you say?
Oh, always fly said, "What's good?" I hope everyone is safe and healthy.
What is good? What is good?
So
Yes.
hopefully you're
Safe
healthy as
and
well.
I don't know about healthy. I mean, I'm safe.
Yeah. So what do you think, Chris? Do you think this new map, do you think is better?
Um. That's. I'm gonna say yes. Although I did love Gremlins. Sad to see it go, but
Yeah.
Billie Eilish is, kind of a part of Universal Monsters: The Bride. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think
I'm
it's a better suited like implementation of her. I think
hopefully
like instead of giving her her own house.
yes.
Like I feel like it makes more sense.
Yeah,
It'd be like
and the
kind of like a
Pumpkin
girl power house. I
original.
think it sounds pretty cool.
I'm all for Pumpkin original.
Can't really go wrong.
Secret IP. We'll see about that, and the Legendary Truth changing from Cary, Ohio to Legendary Truth could be more interesting depending on the angle of how they take that and the angle of this year, because I mean
Mm-hmm.
we almost have, if you kind of know the backstories of, there's 3 houses on here, and if you know the backstories of those, it's almost pointing like this whole year is not only a theme to Terror Queen and to Storyteller, it's a theme to like the anniversary, to all the icons, to some past characters that we've had before. So it feels like they are really almost throwing that anniversary like big ways.
I like that there's kind of a little bit of uncertainty here,
Mm-hmm.
because you have secret IP and unknown original. It kind of leaves things up to the imagination, which is cool. But also, like, there's things we much of, like, original could mean like literally anything having to do with pumpkin. And I think Legendary Truth is another one that's very much could be like anything at this point.
And the fact that we
Yeah.
have
So
six
okay.
original
So always,
houses.
yeah, that is very cool. And plus, Universal Monsters is kind of a pseudo original.
Yeah.
You know, like it's an original take on an IP. So it's really, I mean, depending on what the secret IP is, I assume it'll be a book report type of house. But there's only 3 of those, which is very interesting.
Which
Always Fly says he's thinking Blumhouse would be the secret IP, but they're around on Twitter. I'm not surprised Blum,
oh, you're breaking up. You're breaking up,
but
Connor.
yep.
Uh,
How about now?
How about now?
Yeah.
Yep. You're doing all right.
All right. My bad.
No,
My
you're
internet's
good.
a little spotty sometimes.
Hey. Everybody's pretty much at home using it anyway, so that's probably why.
Yeah, that's been a problem. Yeah. So I love my original. Yeah. I mean, I do agree though with Always Fly that I would say this map is better, and it's also just more interesting because there's more room to like speculate and imagine things.
Yeah, and we don't know the scare zones as well, so an IP could
Mm-hmm.
easily be in the scare zone. They could easily throw something else in there,
Mm-hmm.
IP related, which would be kind of interesting if like some of the rumors that are going around about that secret IP house. Now, we've heard the gauntlet of rumors. We've heard, I myself have heard so many people want certain things. It would be quite interesting if some of those are like what I've heard Psycho, I've heard people want Texas Chainsaw
Texas.
Massacre,
Yep.
which would be kind of interesting as a scare zone. I didn't quite put that together until now. That'd be interesting.
Mm.
Be
Yeah,
something different.
that's true.
But the
I've
secret
heard
IP, yes.
people have also tossed around Silence of the Lambs. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've seen that.
Yeah.
And then of course like the Blumhouse stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's there's a couple different Blumhouse things they could throw together.
Sure.
It could be just one property. Or it could be a mixture of properties because Blumhouse has a couple of different things. I can always throw the Purge back in here, as well as the Scare Zone. Because I feel like looking at the map, with so many of it being originals, they do need something to grab the general audience. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Beetlejuice going to grab the general audience. Maybe is the
Maybe some
Haunting
people.
of Hill House going to grab original audience? Somewhat, but they
Yeah,
do
I
need
think
something big.
my take on the secret IP is that I kind of feel like it's going to be like the biggest. I kind of have a feeling it's going to be like a really big, possibly modern IP.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's going to be a real crowd driver. That'd be my guess, but of course I don't know for sure. But
And it's hard for me to say like Psycho is that really something huge to grab like the
no, no,
audience?
it would be great for the anniversary, which
Yeah,
is probably why people are thinking Psycho.
yeah. Would you
But
think Silence of the Lambs would be that huge to grab audience? Like, I mean, think about like a younger audience, not
it's
like the veterans, because veterans,
oh yeah.
they're probably going to go to the event either way if they've
Mm-hmm.
gone previous years.
I don't know. Silence of the Lambs. Well, it is tough because there's only so many IPs, like so many big
Yeah,
IPs that they haven't done, especially ones that hit that demographic you're talking about.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, they can do Michael
I
Myers
think
over and over and over again, and Jason and Freddy, and most people don't have a problem with them doing that so many times.
mhm. Will the secret IP be the first thing announced once they start, Chris?
Ooh,
Hmm.
good question.
It it
Ooh,
depends on what it is. Like if it is the massive IP, um, then maybe. I kind of feel like the first announcement is going to be Hill House, personally.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the Haunting of Hill House. Will be the first one to be announced.
Yeah. But again, it depends on what the secret IP is. Like if it's a huge modern property, I could see it being first.
What was last
But
year? It was Stranger Things,
it was
and
Stranger Things.
then
Then
I
it was
don't remember.
Nightingales.
Oh, it was Nightingales after. Wow.
Yeah, it was Stranger Things, Nightingales, Monsters. And
Interesting.
Ghostbusters wasn't until like June or July,
Jeez.
which is weird.
And it also depends on if they do the like a week of announcements, or do they try to throw one like every week until
Yeah,
then, because they're kind of running short on time. And they have to announce the shows and the scare zones as well, which usually falls into like one announcement, that they're just like, oh, here's the scare zones and here's the two shows.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how they handle announcements this year. I could definitely see more bundled announcements. You
Hill
know,
House,
you
Beetlejuice, and then Secret IP. They have to throw
mm,
an original in there. I'm gonna say Haunting on Hill House,
yeah.
and then I'm gonna say,
I'm thinking Dungeon of Terror maybe.
you think?
I don't know. It could really be any of the originals.
Because Bedtime, Terra, and Dungeon all seem like they're like connected in ways, because they share, storyteller, or they share Terror Queen. So I'm not quite sure how they're gonna do that. Like,
Yeah,
is the storyteller going to be in Dungeon and Bedtime, or we're going to get a different icon in Dungeon of Terror, like Eddie, like running around, sort of running it, or Jack maybe? I mean, there's
yeah.
so many different speculation ways they can do that.
I think some people have kind of assumed that Dungeon of Terror is going to be like the original house, which it could be. But I kind of have this theory that that's actually going to be the anniversary house, and it's just called Dungeon of Terror as a reference to the past.
Ah,
That's just kind of a theory. That's just a random guess.
yeah,
But I could see if that is the anniversary house, I could see it getting announced second. But I could also see it, if you remember at HHN 27, they actually announced the four I think, yeah, four original houses that year was one announcement, and
oh wow.
I could see that happening again
Hmm.
because then you'd be able to space them out a little more,
Yeah,
and I'm sure like the zones, like I know the last couple of years I think they've announced like the IP zones and then announced the original zones. Or no. Last year it was a full drop. All the zones dropped at once. But the
yeah.
year before that, it was IPs and then originals. This year, I'd probably guess that I would guess that the drop would be all the zones. What if the secret IP is like the Titans of Terror house from Hollywood?
Oh,
I
that
could
would be
I could see that.
phenomenal
I
for them to
I could
get.
also see that. I
Wow.
could see that being a zone too, like a Titans of Terror type of
Oh
zone.
man. Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like what Avion says, scare zones have been very secretive. I've heard like nothing at all. Speculated locations seem weird to me, though, says Allie.
Interesting.
Some of
Yeah.
them. Some of
Um.
them.
Yeah. I don't know how that Cafe La Bamba one, or not, is it Cafe La Bamba, or somewhere behind that,
That's
or
what people are
however they're
saying.
gonna do that. I don't know how they're supposed
I
to.
I heard it would be like in the actual cafe. Like got it like think of like Nazarman's.
Okay, so they
Like
kind of gutted portions of it, and yeah,
mhm.
because I guess they can easily do that, and they never use that location anyway. except for like a VIP sort of type of event.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I guess they'll
they
just
use it
move
for
that.
they use it for like RIP tours and stuff for like the dining, but they could easily do that somewhere else. You know.
Yeah.
So, hey, what's up, Caden? Hope you guys are healthy and safe.
Yes.
But I do agree with Ali that some of the locations are kind of weird.
So you think they'll be like
Like,
altered in the next map?
yeah, I mean, I think things will be altered, but
Oh,
for
you think
example,
like certain houses might be switched around type of thing?
right? Because
Oh.
one thing that's kind of noteworthy when you look at secret IP is the fact that it's a sprung tent.
Oh.
So
Hmm.
but if it's like a big marquee IP, you would probably assume that it would move up to a soundstage, and one of those houses would come back to a sprung tent.
But we did have Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a tent house.
Yes, yes. It depends on the property too. It depends on like the sets.
Yeah.
You know, like depends on if you need like multiple levels. I actually do really like Hill House in a parade building.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Yeah,
I
because
really
parade
like that.
buildings have proven they can be just as good as any house, just
Yeah,
like tent
they're
houses as well
basically
too. Yeah.
like in terms of like capability of the build, like they're just as capable as a soundstage, I would say. Like in terms of how tall you can build it up.
Yeah.
And Haunting a Hill House, you definitely have to build up.
You know what's kind of funny when I'm looking at the map that Dungeon of Terror is where House of a Thousand Corpses was last year, and yet when you
Hmm.
look at like the original like artwork for Dungeon of Terror, it screams House of a Thousand Corpses, like a road. It even says in the description like it's a roadside, like I think it's like a roadside attraction or something, right? Because it's
For
basically
like the
like
original house.
it's like a dungeon a terror, like almost like you go through a museum type thing, which is
Huh.
sort of just how the House of a Thousand Corpses was on the murder ride or whatever it was called. So kind
That's
of
true.
funny how that similarity is right there, unless it switches. And then Beetlejuice is right in the front where you would expect the biggest sort of IPs.
Yeah. And again, they need like that the soundstage for Beetlejuice, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put it in a parade building, but you definitely need like the space for builds and stuff
So where's
and
Monsters
set
at?
design.
Okay, Monsters in a soundstage in the front.
See, that I could see changing potentially.
But then Yeti is where Bedtime Stories is, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen the permits for this year. The
Oh, you're
soundstages are
right. Yeah.
kind of different. Like it's I think it would be I'm not sure, but I think it would be like Beetlejuice and Monsters sharing a soundstage, and then Bedtime Stories and Terror sharing a soundstage. They're only using two sound stages, but they're using like A and B according to the permits. So
Hmm.
they're not using the Ghostbusters soundstage. Um, they're not using the Poltergeist soundstage. They're just like doubling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, double, double, double. Like,
But I could see. I think it all depends on what they want to do with the build when it comes to the originals. But I could see things moving around, and I think it really hinges on what the secret IP is and what they need for like capturing that IP, whatever it is.
yeah, and there's no Shrek building to use this year. So,
Mm-hmm.
interesting enough that that frees up that I was gonna say maybe they could have did a scare zone in that area, but I guess not.
Oh yeah, you mean like where they had the extended queue?
Yeah, like between Shrek and Transformers, like they used
They
to
could
back in the
they could put
day.
a they could put some chainsaws there maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Roaming chainsaws over there.
Could do that. Isn't it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting.
And speaking of
But
the secret IP, we did ask, do we want to go to that or ours? I'll let it be your
let's start
choice.
with ours. Let's start with ours, and then we'll go to Twitter.
All right. And so usually where they start building that certain area. Yeah, that's true. The permits were filed like way back before all this, right? before
Some of
Corona?
them, some of them,
Some of them, okay.
some of them. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so you asked for my dream IP, right?
Yes, that has not happened yet.
That,
That has not happened
well,
yet.
I guess technically one of these can sort of count because it was here and then it was gone, and it's sort of been at the event, but not a full fledged house. And the
Hmm.
one I'm talking about is Scream. It's synonymous with Horror Nights. It's kind of like the black sheep of Horror Nights. If you didn't know, it was actually at HHN 25 as an actual house to be used that year. There is a commercial that they have with Ghostface in it. It was scrapped and they remade it into the Purge that year. Yeah, it's such a shame because Scream goes hand in hand with this event. It's horror, it's comedy, it's a cult classic. It's Wes Craven. You have that great opening scene with Drew Barrymore, which would be just fantastic. And Ghostface is just terrifying. I mean, it's easily like that Michael Myers
Hmm.
scare. So it just works hand in hand. And they can use the voice and some of the music from the movie. I'm just dying for this to come to the event. I don't think it'll ever happen, but I can really hope and dream.
A
And
lot of people say it'll never happen, and I get that logic because
yeah,
they may have burned some bridges, but I like to hold out hope that maybe one day things will get mended, and
maybe.
it's just too perfect of an IP to never do.
It, what would what would happen is they'll make a Scream 5 and it'll be like a big blockbuster, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we're doing Scream 5 at Halloween Horror Nights." It's like, "No, I want the original, not
Oh, it has to
uh,
be the original. It has to. It
yes, it has to be. They can do
has
some
to be.
hints of 2 and 3 in there, cameos or little things, but
Hmm.
it's got to be the original
Has
for
to.
me. For me,
I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
that would just floor. I, I would be speechless if they were like,
Do you
"Secret IP is Scream." Like that would just
do
blow
you
my mind.
think do you think that Ghostface is? I mean, he did appear in like All Night Dying, right?
Yes,
But do you think that Ghostface is the most iconic character that they have not used in like his own house yet? Because I think he might be.
when it comes, well, but they've also had Pinhead featured in All Night Dying. I want to say two, and
Pinhead is up,
a lot of people have wanted Hellraiser for a long
sure,
time.
and Pinhead's up there, but I feel like Ghostface is like more
He's
iconic than Pinhead.
yeah, Ghostface is just as iconic, just under like Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, but like in that league, yeah, I'd say that's fair.
I mean, that's probably like the biggest horror IP of the '90s. I would say that I can think of. Well, Silence of the Lambs, but I think even Scream is bigger than that. Hannibal's pretty popular, but
That's true. And
let's see.
that was my one of mine. I have another one, but I'm gonna throw it to Connor.
Oh, okay, okay. So the one I'm going to start with, since you kind of started with your absolute dream is going to be Fright Night.
Fright Night. Oh man.
Just, I think this is one of those that's going to happen. Like maybe not this year, almost definitely not this year, but it's bound to come at some point. I'd probably put it in terms of popularity on maybe like a Trick or Treat level, maybe a little lower than that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty popular, well known horror
And do you,
movie, and just like the where you
hold on, you're breaking up.
no, I stopped because I thought you were gonna say something.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Um,
Well, what I was gonna say is, okay, so Horror Nights recently, in the last what 2 years, I want to say they've been in this '80s style kind of era. And do you think like with the anniversary year and past that, they're gonna move to a new era and like kind of get out of this whole '80s Sith kind of stuff? Because I feel like
uh,
they kind of do that every so often. They switch up like every 2 or 3 years. They kind of switch up a theme.
it's
Do you think
true.
it's sort of closing in on Fright Night? Maybe this year, maybe next year, and
Well,
then
I don't think it'll be this year. I think it's one of those IPs that could kind of fit in any year, really.
yeah,
Like, it could go at any time. Um, I don't really
perhaps
feel
if
like
we
they're gonna
have like an
do.
all-night die-in type of house and they can throw different properties in there, that could
That would be
be.
cool.
I mean, it wouldn't be cool as a full-fledged house, but at least it'd be something.
Yeah, but I think Fright Night has some really good sets and some really good character design, especially like that ending sequence in the basement when
Oh yeah,
the vampires are just so hideous. And yeah, so that would be that's like one of my favorite horror movies.
yeah.
So I would probably say that would be my
Fright Night.
Since Killer Clowns has already been done.
Yeah,
That
and
would probably
that's
be
your yeah.
my number one IP.
Okay, so if they give you the choice, and I'm just throwing this off the top of the brain, if Universal somehow contacted you, Connor, I don't know how
Mm.
they got your phone number. I guess because you're a past member, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna offer you the chance to choose Killer Clowns to return this, or let's say next year, Killer Clowns to return, or Fright Night. Which one would you choose?"
Oh gosh, would it be like the exact same clown's house, or would they like do it differently?
Same house with much more, like it's going to be in a full-fledged sound stage, like a full-fledged bigger house, more effects, more clowns, more scenes.
Oh, you're killing me. Oh man.
And I'm not going to say where Fright Night's going to be because
Oh,
it could be in a tent, it could be Shrek building, it could be soundstage. That's a
if
hard one,
if
right?
Killer Clowns is way different, like maybe because the Killer Clowns house was kind of like it was kind of a mismatch of scenes from the town, and then you went on board the spaceship.
Yeah,
I guess maybe if it was more like scene for scene from the movie, and it would have to be different. The house would have to be like a totally different idea, just with like the clowns.
yeah,
Then maybe I'd pick that. But if they were bringing back the same exact house, I mean, it as much as it's like my favorite movie and everything, I feel like I gotta take the new. I gotta take the new experience. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I would
Um,
probably go Fright Night.
I can't fault you for that.
So what is your other IP that you
My
had
other
in mind?
IP is it's a little bit out there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's it's a little bit weird. I have to make sure I pick the right one. And where is it? There we go. It's gonna be Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night. If you have
Mhm.
never ever seen this movie, it is even says Dead Time Story. That almost is a riff on the bedtime story. But it is Tales from the Crypt, a little HBO TV show. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Crypt Keeper is. But anyway, this was the first actual movie they put out there. And if have you ever seen it, Connor?
I have not.
Oh my God. Do you like Beetlejuice?
Yeah, love
Okay.
Beetlejuice.
If you like Beetlejuice, you will love this movie. And I know that sounds weird because you're like, what does Beetlejuice have to do with Crypt Keeper? But Crypt Keeper, there's a good old Crypt Keeper. So it's so funny. Like if you really enjoy Crypt Keeper's kind of antics, it's the movie is so weird because it's a movie within a movie within a movie. And I know that sounds very weird. Like, you have to watch it and you're going to be like, wait a minute. So Crypt Keeper's talking about filming this movie, like he's presenting Tales from the Crypt Demon's Night while he's on set from another movie. And then the movie at the end of Demon's Night cuts to like him going to the premiere of Demon's Night, the movie. So it's just craziness.
Wow.
Yeah, but it actually stars Billy Zane, and he pretty much embodies Beetlejuice. Like, there are certain scenes in this where he's so hilarious. He's jumping around. He's like almost riffing off of Beetlejuice. But what makes this perfect for Horror Nights House is it's Crypt Keeper, which everyone knows and loves. And the demon effects in this movie are horrifying. They are frightening. Their eyes glow green. They look at that. Like, how could that not be terrifying in a house? It's something I've loved this movie since I've seen it. It has that song, Hey Man, Nice Shot. It uses it perfectly in the movie. It would be great in the house. There's just so many like different effects and so many, like, there's stuff in the movie I'm not even explaining, to where like Billy Zane has special powers where he can make like certain people in the movie see certain things that are not there. And
What?
then there's like an underground like cavern thing they go through with a bunch of the demons are in there. So it's a terrifying, like, it would be up there with like Poltergeist, I think, on the level of like, oh, this is kind of funny, and then things get serious and it's like these demons with the glowing eyes. So Tales from the Crypt, Demon's Night is always been, and I know Mike Aiello, I know he loves that movie as well. So yeah, that's my second wish.
Well, I'll have to watch that. It sounds like a mess, but a good mess.
Yes, I do have it. I'll make sure to get the Blu-ray, and during Horror Nights we'll have a movie watch.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So my second choice, I kind of wanted to do something a little on the underground side,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like you did, and because Fright Night is kind of a bigger property,
Yeah.
but
Just like Scream. Yeah.
I just couldn't do it because I just kept coming back to It. As Ali said there, her wishes are Scream, Hellraiser, and It. I just kept coming back to It
Good old
because
Pennywise.
I just think seeing Pennywise in a house would be terrifying, and some of the sets in there would be amazing to see.
Yes, the sewers, the just the beginning scene with poor Georgie.
The house.
Oh God!
Like everything that happens in the house.
Yes.
This is an IP that would bring in people. It would be a headlining IP.
Yeah,
I think Pennywise has really like cemented himself as like a staple of horror imagery at this point. Like I see so many T-shirts that has like Ghostface, Leatherface, Freddy, Michael, and then there's Pennywise.
And the fact that
he's like right up there with him now.
It's only 2 movies. Well, at least if you're counting like the newer one, it's only 2 movies. That's all. There's not going to be any more, I don't think.
No.
And yet, people will know this It movie and Pennywise. They will know this for future generations, for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Like, people will still be talking about, oh, do you remember like when you saw It Chapter 1 in theaters? Like, that's crazy.
It's gonna go down as a classic of the 2010s.
Yep.
Which was a pretty good decade for horror in general. And but what I would love would be like a mega house where you get to see both part 1 and 2. And then actually someone tweeted this to us that they would love to see the 1990 version, which I'm going to be honest, like I was very skeptical about like 2017 It.
Yeah.
Because I loved the 1990 version so much. It's like super nostalgic for me. And I know that it wouldn't really make sense to do like, to like just randomly throw them in there. But if we could have like a little stinger scare at the end where the old school Pennywise pops out, that would be great. I would really appreciate it. He's got to be in there. At least in like some way, some sort of Easter egg or something. So
Definitely.
basically, it would be the house would be the new It, with that a nice little sprinkle of 1990, just a nice little sprinkle.
Just a little sprinkle.
So a little sprinkle. Yeah. So, but speaking of what someone tweeted us, Chris, you tweeted out that we want to know what your dream IP is.
Yes.
We got quite a few interesting answers.
That we did.
So let me go to Twitter. I probably should have had this open already.
We're always known to be just a little bit underprofessional.
Yes.
We're not quite polished, but we're just a little bit.
Okay, so
yes,
I've got it. So I'll just kind of go down the list here.
Yeah,
And,
I got it as well, and
we can just throw out some ideas. So first up is Conjuring. I think Conjuring is just lends itself perfectly. You know,
yes,
I feel like it's got to happen someday.
Someday, hopefully. I see Pennywise.
Yep.
I mean,
someone said
Pennywise.
Gremlins.
I meant to say Pinhead. My bad.
Yep,
I'm looking
of
at
course.
Pennywise. Yeah, Pinhead. Hellraiser. You said Gremlins?
Someone said Gremlins. Yep. I'm sure they're a little bit upset about the new map.
Ooh, that's a good one, Allie. 13 Ghosts. Yeah, that
would be crazy.
I want to say that's Dark Castle and Warner Brothers, just like House of Wax. It was around all that time where like 13 Ghosts, Ghost Ship, House of Wax, House on Haunted Hill, all those kind of came out around the same time, which is funny enough, if you ever watched the remake of House on Haunted Hill, I believe it's called, they actually use Islands of Adventure and the Hulk in the opening scene. So there's a little Easter egg there. Alien. I don't think
Yes.
Yeah, that is a huge property they have never touched.
Well, the problem with Alien is that it's Fox.
Ooh,
now,
and now that's
which is now
Disney.
owned by Disney.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
I really wanted Alien last year.
Yeah.
Because it would have been the 40th anniversary.
Oh man.
But I do agree that it would be so good, so good. My buddy Drew Bob, shout out Drew Bob. Says Jason X.
Jason.
That's the most Drew Bob tweet.
He's been talking about Jason X for like as long as I've known him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I guess if they did a Jason house, like an anthology house, that would be kind of. I would love to see like a Jason anthology house where they actually go through a majority of the movies. Like even though he changes from the baghead Jason to the hockey mask to like the Uber Jason X one, I would love to see something like that. That'd be awesome.
Me too. Oh,
kind of like All Night Die-In, but each scene would
Jason.
set up, the next like Jason movie, and they even throw in like a 3D room. That would be awesome.
Gubin says, "Am I the only one that wants Lost Boys?" You're definitely not, because I would love Lost Boys.
Lost Boys would be awesome. Yes.
I just love like 80s vampires, pretty much. that would definitely work for me. So yeah, we got some Scream here. We got some It.
Sabrina, sadly.
Sabrina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rip. Someone said BioShock.
Ooh,
that would be really cool.
Yes, BioShock would be really, really good.
Do you see them like going back and touching video game houses again? Because those two were not the most well-received houses.
Yeah, it's almost like the thing with music, but I feel like
they keep doing it.
In time, they will dip their toes back in. It's just, I don't know, because you would think with 2 new systems coming out this year, video games are kind of coming back in popularity. Not that they dropped out, but they'll be even more popular next year. Resident Evil has kind of made a good comeback with the remakes.
Oh yeah, the remakes are really successful.
Yeah, they would have did good as a remake, not a remake, but Resident Evil 7, I think it was, right? The one before the remakes. I think it was 7.
Maybe
that would have been a terrifying house. Silent Hill would be a good property for them to do again as the video game version. So maybe I could see them doing it.
Yeah, I think it would take like just a video game that really like sweeps the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have to be big time. Someone said Dawn of the Dead, the '78 Romero original.
Ooh, that goes hand in hand with my idea for them to do a I don't know, call it Masters of Horror series or something where like every house they would do dedicated to one director. So like first one would be George
Ooh,
A. Romero, and you would go through his his Dead collection of films. So you start out with the black and white Night of the Living Dead, and you go to Dawn, and then Day, and
that would be
then
awesome.
yeah, I would love that idea. Amanda, happy birthday, Amanda. Happy belated birthday, Amanda. She says the town that dreaded sundown, which is really interesting. If you've never seen the remake of that, it's actually a really, really good slasher movie. I would love that sort of to be more like a Easter egg in a Blumhouse type of collection type of thing. I think that would suit that. The Crow. I've seen a few people say The
There's
Crow.
a couple people, yeah.
I don't
I've
know.
actually never seen The Crow.
You've never
That's actually
seen
a movie
it.
I've not seen that one.
I have
It's on my
not
list.
seen The Crow since what was it? Was it mid '90s? I want to say the
Let me
movie. I
see.
think The Crow came out in the mid '90s.
'94. Yep.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it since since then. I could certainly see maybe it being a property if they do a remake, like a proper remake, and then they bring it back around. Oh,
You know,
heck yeah,
I
man! I Know What You Did Last Summer.
oh,
Oh,
that would be
that's
awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome.
yes, yes,
The original, the first movie, because
yes,
after the first movie, yeah,
yeah. See,
I I did not
that's
get through the whole second movie.
that's what I was talking about with like them kind of leaving the '80s behind after the 30th anniversary, and then going into the '90s. Then they can do like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, a couple of those, The Crow. They can do all those type of movies because the '90s kind of had some good horror to it
Yeah,
as well.
I think it's kind of weird, but properties like Killer Clowns and House of Thousand Corpses
Yeah,
have kind of made me think that like anything's possible. You know, because
pretty much.
when you like run out of the big IPs, they're gonna start bringing in these cult classics more and more. So definitely makes me think anything's possible. Someone said, honestly, I wish Killer Clowns again since I had to miss last year. But overall, I think I'd love to see The Fog. So first of all, for saying Killer Clowns again, hey, you're awesome. But The Fog. The
Yes.
Fog. I think The Fog would be super, super dope. Although the Forsaken
And see
was
that
basically The
goes
Fog.
hand in hand with Real Sports and Movie Guru said a John Carpenter extended mashup house, which is basically like the idea I was talking about of doing a Masters of Horror directed based house. You can do The Fog in there and
Mm,
still sort of have it, but not have it be a total house because they've already done that with the Forsaken. So Halloween, The Thing, They Live, Prince of Darkness, which is a really good one.
oh yeah. So They Live is one of those properties that like I would just love to see it represented, but I
Yes.
couldn't see it being like a full house.
Yeah, I definitely
Like
see a couple good scenes in there.
the
That would be awesome.
the, the one scene that I would have to see in a They Live house would be the fight scene.
Yes, the fight.
That is the best movie fight scene
That
ever.
and
It's so
the
good.
the one line that what does he say? I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. Then he's
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Yeah, they would have to have that.
Yes. Um,
Halloween
let's see.
2018.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So I have an idea for that. Like
Yeah, some people might think that could be the secret IP as well. I'm still leaning towards next year when they kind of complete the trilogy or have both of them. Or I think it's next
that's
year. Or is it this year? I want to say it's
I think
next year.
Halloween Kills is this year, and then Halloween Ends is next year,
It would be
right?
perfect to sort of do a trilogy based on the new ones. Then you can do like
See,
a Uber house with all three. But
that's what I was thinking would be
yeah.
good, but it would also be perfect because next year would be HHN 31, which is Halloween. You know, like it just couldn't be more perfect.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
We are proud to
Um,
pronounce Rob Zombie's Halloween.
oh no! And then the person on Twitter said, as much as everybody hated it, I definitely did not hate it. It
What do
was
you
very
mean?
good.
Oh, which
Well,
one?
Halloween 2018.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's cool. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
definitely didn't hate it.
yeah, I didn't hate it. What about a Misery House? It would have to go with a Stephen King, like Masters of
Yeah,
Horror type house.
good
Once
luck on
again,
that
hey,
one.
Mike
Yeah,
Aiello. I mean, I know you're doing Epic Universe, but if you want to pass along that idea,
yeah.
but Stephen
Well,
King is
it'd be hard to get him
that's.
on board, Stephen King.
I don't think they'll ever. Am I right? Because The Shining was the first time we were like, "Whoa, they actually got something from Stephen King." Or
Yeah, they immediately pissed him off
yeah,
because
so
they were saying like Stephen King's The Shining,
and then
but we
they're
all
like,
know that
"Oh, we
he's
gotta change that."
because he's Stephen King is like disowned Kubrick's version of it because he hates it so much,
Yeah. So it
and it was
ended up just
obviously
kind of being like
Stanley
relating to
Kubrick's The Shining.
yeah. Psycho. I'd love to see the original Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 get a house. I would love that as well.
Yep, that would make sense.
Yeah, because I love those. Well, they're funny, but they're actually got some really terrifying scenes with the Deadites, and especially the fruit seller. Oh God, that would terrify me.
We just got one more in. Hear me out. Jurassic Park. Raptors, Dilophosaurus, that severed arm from the first one. I mean,
Why not? I
I
guess.
mean, I mean, why not? I would love to see something with dinosaurs. I like the idea. I don't know about Jurassic Park specific. Well, I I mean they could make it work. It would be very hard,
Yeah,
but you have to use a lot of bushes and stuff.
and they actually did do something sort of dinosaur related way back. I
Yeah,
think it was
that it was.
HHN 14 or 12, I believe, where they had like what was it, half man, half like dinosaur type creatures running around.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's
remember
on the
reading
Art of
about that.
Scare DVD, I believe.
That would be 12 then, HHN 12.
Yeah.
Let me go to that on the wiki.
There's a big. Oh yeah, big spider.
Oh no.
Ah. Yeah, he just hangs up there.
Let's see. Project
Underworld.
Evolution.
Underworld. Hmm,
By the way, that
maybe not.
dinosaur human hybrid house was Project Evolution.
There we go. Oh, it was a zone, I believe.
HHN
Not. I don't know
HHN
if it
12.
was
No,
a
it was a house.
house. It was a zone, right? Yeah.
It's a house. It was a house
Oh,
in the Triceratops Discovery Trail. Now that is something.
it could work. I mean, trust me, Horror Nights makes anything work.
Mm-hmm.
When we speak on our original, the originals that we want to come back, you'll understand when I say they can make anything work. But I don't know. It's too much of a action type movie. That's not really. It's almost like if they said, "Let's do Hellboy as a house." It could work, yeah, because Hellboy has creatures and stuff. But I don't know. It just doesn't speak Horror Nights to me for some reason.
Yeah, Jurassic Park doesn't, but
No, I
something
was talking
with
about Underworld.
Oh,
Underworld.
Underworld. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think like a dinosaur original would be like really
Dino
cool. Not like
Crisis.
human dinosaur hybrids, but actual like raptors. Like the main characters are raptors, and there's like a big T-Rex at the end or something. I don't know.
Unless they
I would
want to
actually really
do,
like.
unless they did like the remake of Dino Crisis, if that came out, the video game, and then they tried to do like a house based on that type of thing. That's the only way we're gonna get dinos in a house.
Yeah. So Goopin says, I would actually really like to see Event Horizon. That would be something. Didn't they do a house, like an original house that was inspired by Event Horizon?
Yes, it was
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Yeah.
Interstellar Terror.
Yep.
That would have been 2008.
Yes, the Bloody Mary year. Yes.
Correct. Reflections
Hey,
of Fear.
look at Connor knowing his research history.
Yeah. Well, I just Googled it. I
Uh,
just Googled it.
Melissa Joan on the Twitter says Suspiria. I would love that
Yeah,
because,
that has some insane imagery for sure.
yeah, the colors they use, the music, it would just be phenomenal. I would definitely could see that.
That's one that I think will come at some point. I think that will happen one day.
You think Suspiria?
Yeah, as like a cult classic kind of house.
Yeah.
One of those years, I think it could happen. So should we move on to this little unknown original spot?
Correct. This was all Connor's idea. He said, "Hey, if you can make an original come back for this year, because we have, if you didn't see the map again, we have an unknown original on the map. So it was a good challenge, and mine is going to be a little weird.
Okay.
I'll throw out the easier one first, and then it'll get really weird for the second one. The first one is HR Blood and Guts, Holidays of Horror. I want a sequel to this house. I've been wanting it since this one debuted. If you do not know, HR Blood and Guts is basically, it's a riff off like old TV show kind of hosts who do like horror, like it's more like on your public access TV stations, and you essentially went through the house and every single room was a holiday. So it would be like Easter or like President's Day or like Arbor Day. And it was just like really kind of goofy, but it was also like fun. So I think they could easily do a sequel to this house. It would be excellent, in my opinion. I've been wanting that for a long time.
Sounds. I think our blood would be fun as well. My first one. This one is kind of, well, I mean, I could tie it to it from the past, but it's more just kind of like an idea that I've had,
Yeah.
So it would be like an alien invasion type of house, but it would be like not like a xenomorph kind of alien, but more like the aliens we saw in Invasion, HHN 27. And I'm not necessarily saying like a sequel to that Scare Zone.
Yeah.
Just like kind of the more like Mars Attacks kind of Little Green Men style aliens.
That would be so hilarious.
and I would do it like, because we all know about Creatures from whatever year and how it was like mostly hillbillies and then there was a creature.
Yeah.
But this one, my idea is like you start in like the town and you see the aliens kind of attacking the town, and then you get abducted. Okay.
Oh.
So you remember how like in Poltergeist they use like that little light trick to make it seem like you're going into the light?
Yeah.
It would be kind of something like that. So you get abducted, and then phase 2 of the house, you're on the alien spaceship. So you get to like explore the ship while aliens are popping out.
Oh.
And finally, you end up on
their
the
planet.
aliens. You end up on the aliens' planet. Correct.
Yes.
So you get to see like an alien world. You get to see more of the grotesque aliens that maybe they kind of keep under wraps because they're so freaky. And that would be my idea. That's something that I've always thought would be cool. So yeah, that's kind of my first idea. I know it's not really a sequel. but
No, it was sort of a pseudo sequel.
so sort of, yeah,
It
sort
could
of,
be in that universe of like that zone.
right,
It
of
doesn't have to
invasion.
be
Yeah,
like, what was that called? Invasion, right?
invasion.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be called like Invasion 2 or something like.
No,
Yeah.
just kind of because you probably use some of those costumes,
Yeah.
and like I could like kind of the idea is like the aliens get worse and worse as you go, so like they only select like certain aliens to go to Earth,
Mhm.
but then if those are the ones that came to Earth, imagine the ones that they wouldn't even take on their spaceship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Leave It to Cleaver
that's my idea.
2.
I'm telling you,
Ooh.
slide me that the Devil Dogs are animal Amazon Cannibals house. I would love to see them turn a Slaughter Cinema room into a full house.
That's where I would think a Leave It to Cleaver sequel would kind of be put, because that whole Slaughter Cinema, I think they struck gold when they did that, because they can use it as a clutch for anything. They can just say like, like we're gonna do the sequel to this and put it under the Slaughter Cinema brand or something. So they can use that for years and years and years. So
They could do HR Blood and Guts presents Slaughter Cinema.
good
I think I
point.
saw someone tweet that one time.
Good point. And some people were saying that the Pumpkin House could be the was it Pumpkin Guts?
Pumpkin Guts, yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that too. That's a good idea.
because yeah, Slaughter Cinema it's due for a comeback. Um,
Yeah,
very
and
very
I could
soon.
see like I don't know what the Pumpkin House is going to consist of entirely, but I would not be surprised if like a Pumpkin Guts mask, is in there somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Even if it's not like got the Slaughter Cinema name, they might reuse that mask.
Yeah,
Could see that. So, do you have a second original?
I do, and this one it's it's weird. I was thinking of
Mine
like
is too. So don't worry.
I was thinking of what could I pick for something, and let's see if I can do this right. And it is Night Maze. This is a zone that is just out there. This is one of the strange. Like if you look at the Horror Nights history, this is up there with like the strangest idea they had. Besides like the zone with like bubbles and that catastrophe. But Night Maze, if you don't know what this is, it was a scare zone between Shrek and Transformers, where Transformers is. Essentially, what it is, I'll give you sort of a brief video. Essentially, it was just a zone where they used some cheap sets, which was nothing but like black hooded clothed characters running around, no makeup, no masks, just black clothes, black hoods. And what made this maze, and I think would be interesting to come back as a house, is they had these fences, as you see in the video. So the fences, and the actors would move them. So the zone consistently changed every time you went through. Like the pathways would change. Sometimes it would be narrow, sometimes it's wide, sometimes it might break up your party if you were walking and then they swung the fence open. Like it would push you to go certain ways. So from a creative standpoint, they cannot do this obviously with today's crowds. But at nighttime, it got even scarier because they played weird like baby noises and like all weird effects and the strobe lighting. It just like made you almost like dizzy and stuff. And then with the fences moving, like it added up to be a terrifying kind of experience. I think this would translate perfect to a house that was ever changing. I don't think Horror Nights has ever done that, to have a house that is consistently maybe like the pathway changes or something. And so like every time you went through, it almost felt like a different or new experience. That would be something I think I would love to see Horror Nights try to tackle. I don't know how they would do that, but I would love to see something like that. So Night Maze 2, please.
So my second idea is, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little weird. I haven't fully thought out how it would work, but this is kind of a versus house. So you know how like the Fallen, it was kind of angels versus demons. It was like this whole
Yeah.
fight. So this is it's gonna be the Gargoyles of Gothic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and this takes place at the cathedral once again, and they're gonna be taking on the Forsaken ghosts. And here's how this is gonna work: the ghost ship. You know what? They got there. They crashed into that fort.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, the ghosts they've just absolutely won this battle. I mean, it just wasn't close. It was a bloodbath, right?
Yeah.
Now the ghost ship, well, it's ghostly. So this ghost ship, Chris, it can fly, okay? And somehow it ends up in the Cathedral de Cementum Animus is what it appears to be called here on the HHN wiki. Animus.
Animus.
So in this scenario,
Mm-hmm.
the Gothic cathedral, the architecture is done. They've completed it, and the gargoyles have gone to rest because, well, they're just not really needed at the moment because there hasn't been a threat in years. But then the threat comes. The ghost ship. At this point, the ghosts are angry at the curse that's been brought upon them, and they're just out for blood. There's no rhyme or reason. They just want to attack something.
Yeah.
So they're drawn to this cathedral, and they crash their ship right into it, which is a shame because the architecture has been completed, and now they're going to have to renovate again. But as you might expect, the gargoyles are dead. So it ends up being a fight between the Forsaken ghosts and the Gothic gargoyles, and you'll get to be both on like the ship and the cathedral, kind of like how in the Forsaken you were both in the fort and on the ship. Correct?
Yeah.
That was a thing. So it would be similar in execution to what the Forsaken was like. So I would say it's really more of a Forsaken 2 than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just now that the new setting for the Forsaken's conflict is the Gothic cathedral. So I have not really flushed out the idea of why.
Yeah.
But I just thought, let's combine these two originals. So that's what I got.
Wow. You put mine to shame. Mine was just like.
Well, to be fair, I only really had to think of one because that alien idea, that the exact alien walkthrough I just told you, has been an idea for like over a year now, and I just wanted to talk about it. So.
Wow. Wow.
I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
And here I was thinking, oh, he was going to go with the usual Nightingales versus the Body Collectors, and no, you went elsewhere
too easy.
and
That's
far
too easy.
deeper than I thought one would go. That is excellent. If they ever did a HHN movie, I'd love it to be an anthology. Yes, I would love that as well. Like
So
anthology, like short, or like we're only gonna put like 3 icon movies and spread it out to be longer, like Trick or Treat ish. Like how we're doing that.
So does anyone in the chat have a like idea for an original that they would like to throw down? It doesn't have to be a sequel like
doesn't
ours
have to
were,
be
or
a
like
sequel. Maybe
doesn't have to be inspired by anything they did before. It can just be a totally new idea, or it can be a sequel. But I'd be interested to hear what your minds have come up with.
Anybody?
I'm sure we've all thought about this. I'm sure we've
Yeah.
all thought about
Or it
this
could
a
be
bunch of times.
something maybe you haven't seen them tackle before or done, and you like to see it done. Like maybe, for instance, this is just me thinking off the top of my head, like a zoo for a type of area, like where they actually have like animatronics of like different animals attacking us would be kind of crazy. Like maybe
Mm.
something got into the air and it made all the animals like I don't know,
Make
like
it like,
mutated or vicious or something. Like
yeah, they get more and more like mutated as you go along.
yeah. Then it
It'd
would
be
get. Then
interesting.
it can do like Tiger King references and have a tiger.
Joe Exotic pops out and goes like, "That damn Carol Baskins." But I think the reason a zoo could be interesting is because like it's like, okay, so most originals are going to be like based off of not real things,
Yeah.
but if it's like a zoo and like a polar bear or something jumps out,
Or a giraffe or something like a
a
gorilla could
giraffe.
like beat on the glass thing. Oh, that would scare. That would
Hmm.
terrify me. I would
I'd
like.
like to see a
Oh, there
really
we go.
dark demon possession type. Ali, have you ever seen the movie House of the Devil?
Oh God,
That
yes.
that that movie just murdered my brain.
I didn't think you would like that because it's
House of the
very
Devil?
slow paced, right?
Yeah, I can do a slow
But I
pace though.
love the 70s kind of aesthetic. Like it really felt like it was from like the Suspiria type of era. Like there's some really like crazy stuff in that house.
It's
Honestly.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
Dr.
very much that.
Oddfellow's Carnival.
Oh, that would be great. Would love that. Oh, hey Losh, by the way, how you doing,
What
man?
up, Losh? What
How
up?
are you doing? Medieval torture chamber. I would be down for that, Chris, because I just love anything in like a medieval type fantasy setting. It's
I
definitely.
wonder, well, I wonder if we're going to get some of that in the Dungeon of Terror type house,
I
maybe.
hope so.
Maybe a hint of that. But they haven't done, like, it would be funny if they did, like, um, what's the show in Orlando?
Medieval
Medieval
times.
Times, right? Yeah. Like,
Hmm.
if they did a riff on that, that would be funny.
Yeah. Caden's building a meme maze in Minecraft similar to Scary Tales. It's dead memes that have come and gone, but with a terrifying twist. That's funny. Okay, make sure that you throw in Forever Alone. All those old Rage comics from like 2009 that we somehow thought were funny. Yeah.
The,
Let's see.
the, I tell you one meme today that terrifies me, and I can't like anytime I see a picture of it, and you're probably gonna guess what it is. Anytime I see a picture of her, I have to like turn my head, and that's the what is it called, the challenge, the
Momo?
yes, God,
Oh,
I cannot
hate her,
I
dude. I
cannot
hate
look
her.
at it. It
Dude,
terrifies me.
it's I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Oh, you know what? I also just thought of that. I'd love to see them tackle someday. Would be like pirates. Like you know how Busch Gardens did like that the black spot at
Yeah,
Howl-O-Scream. I'd love to see something like
like a
that,
black
but
beard type of
yeah,
that would
like
be
just straight up pirates. I just love the whole pirate thing. I think it'd be cool, but it would be interesting to see like a Horror Nights version of it because I know the black spot's not really the most well received maze in
yeah.
Howl-O-Scream, but I've always thought that the concept had a lot of like really good potential, especially with like imagery and stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing I will give a nod to, or the other event down the road, the Hollow Scream. I give them praise for just the creativeness of like the ideas where you're like, oh, like Motel Hell, like I never would have thought of something like that being a house, or the Pirates one, or um, I'm trying to think like the zombie tag one, but zombie mortuary was crazy. Um, so they always tend to have some really weird ideas. And that also speaks to Horror Nights being that this is the 30th year, and you would think 30 years, 30 events, they've done it all. You think but then there's stuff like we're talking about and stuff people in the chat are coming up with where it's like, oh yeah, that would be interesting. I never thought about like a pirates type house or something set in a zoo. So goes to speak that there's so much
Lots of
more
ideas.
that they're gonna have. Yeah, like at
Watch that,
Dark
like,
Horizon.
yeah. I mean, there was a Pirate House at Dark Horizon, but I'm talking like the HHN production value. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's a totally different experience. Although I did
yeah,
enjoy the Pirate House at Dark
yeah.
Horizon.
Just without the slide, obviously.
I went down the slide, but I'm pretty sure they took that out after like the first night. So
Oh, they
I
probably
got to do
did.
it. I think so. So Chris says, "What about the Slender Man myth?" I actually would like to see Slender Man in a house, but I think it would be cool if it was like a bunch of myths, you know, like modern
Oh,
horror myths, and
yes,
Slender Man having
well,
a
not
part in
urban
it.
legends, but yeah, I would love like a myth house. Yes, based on myths. So
Yeah, and have Slender Man in it because I'd love to
yeah,
see him in there. He's terrifying. I mean, could you imagine like someone like our buddy Asher, you know,
God, oh
6 foot
man,
7, popping out as Slender Man? Oh,
and they can give him
it.
like the like like hands extension
Oh
thing, so it could look like lengthy.
man, I'd hit the floor.
Now
We
I
need an
know
extra long
they've
slide.
done I think, and this is going way old school. I think they did a house based on superstitions, like superstitions before,
That
which
sounds
would be
right.
kind of
Yeah.
interesting for them to do something like the myth and then maybe like urban legends type thing. Um, that would be kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Insomnia, yeah, Insomnia. Deathwater Bayou, yeah, you're right. Those houses are fantastic as well at Hollow Scream. So, who would have thought Insomnia to do a house based on that? Yeah, Deathwater. See, everyone in the chat, and I'm gonna try my hardest to get Connor over to Hollow Scream this year. I didn't tell him that until now to put
Yeah.
him on the spot, but
I'd like to. I'd like to. I'd like
yeah,
to.
because it would be his first time there, and it's something different to experience. Like the way we kind of experienced Dark Horizon, that was
Hmm.
something like just the feeling of going to something similar but in a different setting, and you don't know how terrifying it's going to be. So I would love to see how he's going to react
So
to Hollow
so
Scream.
here's the deal, right? If we're gonna go through these crazy houses like Deathwater Bayou and stuff, that's fine. But you're gonna come with me on the Cheetah Hunt coaster.
Oh,
Yes, sir. I want to do that coaster so bad. I haven't been to Busch Gardens in like 10 or 11 years. So there's so much like rides I need to do.
yeah.
Let's see. Okay, speaking of Asher Elwell as the hat guy in Hill House, I actually talked to him about that not that long ago. I'm like, dude, I think you're gonna be the hat guy. That's my guess. But I could also see him because if like the bride's house, if like Frankenstein is in there, like if the monster happens to be in there too, I could see him
True.
getting that again, like reprise the role. So
They made me
yeah, I've
drop.
heard that Avian.
Wow.
I've heard that Avian. I've heard there's like no safe spots in the streets, which is a little concerning.
Oh, the
But
streets of how they do at Hollow Scream.
yeah, yeah.
I don't even know how they even function to like on a administrative like level how they plan that out because it feels random. There's like set zones, but then there's like you'll just be walking along and you're like, "Oh, there's random characters over here like just randomly. Like they're not listed on the map. They totally roam around. So sometimes you'll see like a group of vampires and then you won't see them for the rest of the night again. So it's really weird how they do it. It makes
Hmm.
it more terrifying. And the people in the bushes. Oh my God, that's one of the scariest things I've ever experienced was people in bushes. And
Don't
bungee
forget to.
scares out
Hey,
out in the scare zones.
I like Chris Carr's idea here. Let's see if you agree. Don't forget to go on Iron Gwazi when at Busch Gardens. What do you think?
Oh
Think about do Iron Gwazi? No, you don't want to do Iron Gwazi?
hell no.
Man, I'm trying to do Iron Gwazi.
Are
Like
you
I was
out of your mind?
no,
I would
you're
die.
out of your mind, dude. This is like just another like on another level. This coaster,
I would
like it's like
die.
historic. You know what I'm saying?
Connor would look over and be like, "Man, that was excellent." I'd be like,
You'd be like
"Death."
passed out probably.
The first ever tourist dies at Hollow Scream.
Just out of pure fear. And wasn't even in a house. It was on Iron Gwazi.
I would come back and haunt you every day for the rest of your days.
Original on phobias can be cool.
Mm,
Spiders, snakes, clowns, tight spaces. Yeah. Oh, tight spaces
yes.
would.
Oh
Oof.
God,
Oof.
yeah. It would be those
Oof.
inflatable things that like inflate, and you're like, yeah.
I hate tight spaces.
Lodge says, "What about he misses?" And you're gonna make me say it. La Llorona. So anything related, I know I said that wrong. So anything related to that, I'm all game. I would love for her to have a house or presence since she's already kind of been at the event before, and I love the house. So I'm all for that. Maybe like a Spanish kind of horror house or Spanish myths.
Yeah, I'm surprised because they like that was like urban legends. The Curse of La Llorona
Yeah.
kind of made it sound like
And it made
there's
it
more
sound
urban
like, yeah,
legends
that was
houses in the
something
cards.
they were going to do, like, oh, or another Urban Legends house. And they just, for whatever reason.
They could have used it last year too. They could have had Yeti. Could have been like Urban Legends Yeti.
Good point, yeah.
So I don't know. They seem to have just destroyed that idea.
Iron Gwazi, yeah. That sounds like a band.
Kind of, yeah, kind of does.
Iron Gwazi.
I would probably listen to him. But yeah, Chris, I think you should do Iron Gwazi for sure. For sure.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, good. I got you verbally agreeing. I will remember that.
Oh, you will? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, bro. I don't forget.
Damn you, chat.
Hey, they brought it up. I'm just agreeing with them. So, well, what do you think, man? I think I've run out of stuff to say.
I think so as well. We gave you guys plenty. You asked for Horror Nights talk. We gave it to you.
It's funny because like in the midst of this whole pandemic,
Yeah.
it's like dang, there's not gonna be any news. Like there's gonna be nothing to talk about. So I don't know what to do. But then every time, out of nowhere, we get a spec map.
Every time.
The last two shows, I'm like, what the heck are we gonna do? And both times we got a spec map. So thank you, Horror Night Nightmares.
Thank you.
Give us another one in 2 weeks.
Yes. I've known the owners of Horror Night Nightmares for years and years, actually. Great people. I run into them every time at Horror Nights. Great. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure, not speaking for them, but I'm pretty sure there will be a map just around the corner. Maybe not next week, but soon enough, I'm sure. When's the big pass going? Shh, Losh. We don't speak of that yet. That's like the body collectors. I feel an announcement coming soon. Wow. Very, very soon. I don't know. From Horror
I like
Nights,
what
that would be kind of huge for them to just drop out of nowhere, like coming this Halloween Horror Nights, Haunting on Hill House. Grab your tickets.
yeah, I feel like they're not gonna announce anything till the parks reopen.
Yeah, they're
But I hope I'm
not.
wrong. But I like what Chris said here. He says Horror Nights is the light at the end of the virus tunnel, and it's funny because like I've been using it as like the exact same thing.
Good point.
You know,
I didn't even think
I'm
about
like
that.
let's just try and get through this.
Yes.
So we can have that. If we don't have that, man, this year's a wash. I'll probably be really upset. Like, oh,
that would be.
we don't need to think about that yet.
I think Connor would officially make T-shirts then and buy them. It'd be like, 2020 officially sucks or something like the worst.
Dude, it's been so bad so far. Like, oh my gosh. So
Um, mm, that depends a lot on Universal stated what all the way till the end of May, right? Unless
yeah,
they can always change that and say like, oh, well, surprise, we're gonna open in 2 weeks or something, and then we'll get an announcement probably by the end of May. But as the current schedule, I'm gonna say somewhere like mid June or late June, we're gonna get an announcement, which
hmm
seems so late in the year. It's so crazy. We would have already had what, like at least two or three by now.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy. Hopefully, we can say the horse season. Yeah, because they still have to announce the Born Supremacy. The show is like done. Like it was already set to be open, I believe, by the end of Mardi Gras. I think it was going to be open.
yeah. It was pretty
So
much done. They were doing TM previews and
yeah,
everything.
so considering they have to do the rollout for that and the announcements and the media stuff and all that stuff for that, so that'll probably be who knows June or July at this point. May 31st, yeah. That is it, I believe so. Thank you guys for tuning in. Wow, I this is the first time I think we've had such an audience. I can't believe it. Thank you all.
Yeah, the last couple weeks. Thank you, everybody.
There's Connor. You want to tell them how they can reach you?
Sure. So we got Twitter primarily. That's Connor Conner W96, and then I have a YouTube channel that's Connor FL. So that's me.
That's right. That's you. Oh, you said that's me.
That's
So
me.
if you ever see him in the parks or meet him in real life, I don't know if he'll be cartoon animated.
No, maybe
That might be his doppelganger that roams around when he's not at the
it is.
parks.
It is pretty accurate though. It is a pretty accurate depiction. So
Um, wow. The show saw it during the preview. Okay. I can't wait to see it. The only thing I will ask is there any loud noises in it? Because I'm assuming like how Terminator had loud noises, I'm assuming this one's gonna have some kind of explosion or a gunshot. Um, I don't do very well with those, so that's the only reason why. Normally, like Terminator, I always knew when to cover my ears, so I really enjoyed the show. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to reach me, do I have one? Yeah, there we go.
I think you do.
Snazzy, snazzy.
Yeah.
There we go. You can reach me. It's simple. On both platforms, it's just one thing, Zombie CT. No, it is not standing for Connecticut. Although I don't have a problem with Connecticut. But that is it. That is it for the show. A lot. Oh, that gives me a lot to look forward to. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to wear I'm going to be that old dude wearing earplugs at the Born Supremacy show. Yeah. Thank you for
Well,
that.
thank you for stopping by, Mia. Hopefully, see you in the next one.
Yes. Thank you guys,
And I
everybody in
hope
the
you
chat.
all enjoyed this episode of the Connor and
Thank
Chris
you.
podcast. And
Yes.
one of these days, we'll come up with a better name for the Connor and Chris podcast. One of these days, for
You
sure.
guys are killing me. Gunshots and explosions. Yes, that gives me a whole lot to look forward to. Thank you guys for all the thumbs up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like Connor said, hopefully someday we'll come up with a better title for this. For now, thank you guys for tuning in. This is a bi-weekly podcast, so we won't be back next week. We'll be back the week after, but stay tuned because there is a huge podcast coming very, very soon. Details on that just around the corner. Losh was kind of hinting towards it. Stay safe, everybody out there. Love you guys. Stay safe. Stay indoors. Don't go to the beach.
Please don't go to the beach.
Don't go to the beach.
Please save horror nights.
Yeah, save horror nights. There we go. And live stream, we are out.